Let's head up to St. Louis and welcome Sean Woodson. Sean, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Not too bad. Another fight week for you, but a little different. I know you fought in St. Louis before, but fighting again now in the UFC in your hometown of St. Louis.
Yes, sir, man. It's amazing. It's a dream come true, honestly. Making it to the UFC was a dream come true, but now fighting in front of my hometown while in the UFC is another dream come true in itself. And man, I can't wait.
I'm not big on, hypotheticals and what if and this kind of, like I said, you have fought there, and I'm sure the crowd was incredible. What are you anticipating? What do you imagine that walk is going to be on Saturday? When Bruce Buffer or whoever says, from St. Louis.
Yeah, I mean, what you said, man, it's going to be incredible. Anybody who knows anything about St. Louis, they know that they are a super supportive city of all their sports teams and people. And, ever since this fight got announced, everywhere I go, the grocery store, the park, no matter what, people are, stopping and shouting me out and telling me they can't wait to come out and support, and they're looking forward to it. And I just know that's going to be a magical moment when I make that walk in front of my city.
And how many people said, how do I get tickets? How can you hook me up? How many of those did you get?
Man, I got family members and cousins I didn't even know I had. I'm hearing from people I went to high school with that I ain't heard from in 15 years. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
It's awesome. Now, you mentioned about St. Louis fans and their sports teams. Are you born with a hatred towards the Chicago Cubs?
No, I mean, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I'm a diehard loyal St. Louis guy for sure, but I've never really been all crazy into baseball, like fighting through my life, and that's really the only sport I follow. But I mean, yeah, I know all about the feud between Chicago and St. Louis for sure. So if it comes down to it, I'm back in the Cardinals.
There you go. Well, just a couple, between St. Louis and things you may or may not find interesting. I'm a former St. Louis Cardinal bat boy. You may or may not know the Cardinals used to train in St. Petersburg, Florida, where I lived growing up and where this network is based. And so for 3 years during spring training, and so they taught you some things. And one of the things that they drilled into my head as a 17, 18-year-old kid was, you do not like the Chicago Cubs.
That's funny, man. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that at all, because anytime I talk to anybody from St. Louis that are, a baseball fan or Cardinals fan, one of the first things out of their mouth are some disrespect towards the Cubs.
Perfect. Before we talk about the fight itself, a mutual friend of ours, one of my closest former athletes in MMA, Matt Hughes. Tell me the story about how you got involved with Matt.
Yeah, man, Matt Hughes was my first, training in his gym and meeting him was my first introduction into MMA. I started boxing when I was 8 years old. And boxing was my life. Boxing was the plan and the dream. But then I got into a car accident where I couldn't drive to my boxing gym anymore. But I didn't want to give up fighting. So, my mom found Hit Squad, which was Matt Hughes' gym online. They had dorm rooms there where I could go live there, and I wouldn't have to travel back and forth because the car accident kind of messed me up and I couldn't drive on the highway anymore. But, yeah, long story short, I found MMA, found Matt Hughes' gym. It was still pretty similar to boxing. It was still some sort of fighting and combat aspect of it. So, yeah, I went there, started training with Matt Hughes. Because of my extensive boxing background, they threw me into the deep end right away. I was sparring with Matt Hughes, sparring with guys in the UFC when I was 18 years old. And, he taught me a whole other world. He taught me the wrestling and grappling game. He had guys there that were 120 pounds that were rolling me up into a pretzel, man. It was crazy.
Well, and how did that go the first day, the first week? Matt throws you in the deep end, with him, I'm sure, and with some of the others there. How did that go?
Yeah, well, when me and my mom and a couple of my other family members went out there to just check the gym out. I think I had on some, cargo shorts and a polo or something and didn't plan on training at all. My mom had been on the phone with a few of Hughes' staff members and really hyped me up to him. So when we got there, they basically were like, we want to see what he's got. They were like, we got some pros sparring right now. He can jump on in. And, I wasn't prepared at all. And, I'm like, I don't have any equipment, any gear. And I really felt like they were trying to, call my bluff. Because
Sure.
They were like, we got everything. We got gear. We got a mouthpiece for you. Come on, let's go. So I geared up, jumped on the mat, and did really well. I think I impressed him with my striking and my boxing and stand-up. But, man, I was a fish out of water when it got to the ground and grappling.
Well, your experience.
They were, oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I
that.
was going to say, man, they were mauling me left and right. And they, Matt Hughes and all, they told me, you're like, man, your striking is really good, but you got to get this ground game together.
Well, and I was going to tell you quickly my experience. I was with him in the little entourage in London when he had the rematch with Carlos Newton. And my son and I were messing around in the room, and I went a little hard on my son. So Matt goes, okay, you and me. I go, you and me what? So he makes me come over there. He mounts me, and he goes, okay, get out. I go, get out of what? I go, you're the world champ. Carlos Newton can't get out. You expect me to get out? It was the longest 5 minutes of my life.
Yeah, Matt, hey, he has a solid mount game, too. If he gets on top of you, you're there until he says otherwise.
And because I attempted it for the 5 minutes, I was able to carry the belt down the ramp. That's back when they had the ramp back in the day. And so I walked in with him to the octagon, carrying the belt. Matt always will be, one of the greats in my eyes. But let's talk about Saturday. You're back in the octagon, like I said, in your hometown. Give me your thoughts on your opponent, and Alex.
He's by far, I'd say, the best opponent I fought to date. I wouldn't say he's the most dangerous guy. The last guy I fought was the most dangerous in the sense of, like, him hurting me or whatever, me getting hurt. But Alex Caceres is definitely the most skilled opponent I fought, the most experienced, the most guy who presents the biggest threat of the fight not going my way. I think he has, like, he's up there for the most wins in the division. He's had, like, 30 fights in the UFC. He's one of the longest reigning guys on the roster. So it's a huge test that I'm really looking forward to, man. He's, like I said, he has a ton more experience than me, but I feel like putting on a dominant performance against him will really show the levels of my skills and where I stand in this game.
We briefly talked about what to expect Saturday when you're walking to the cage in St. Louis. What has it been like in the past? What's running through your mind as you're making that walk into the octagon for a fist fight?
For me personally, I'm just trying to stay calm, cool, and collected. I know a lot of other guys, there's different ways to do everything. Some guys like to, really get themselves hyped up and amped up for the moment. Not me, though. I try to stay calm, cool, and collected. And since my UFC career, I want to say 3 times now, I've fought guys in their, in enemy territory, in their own backyard. I've loved it all. I like playing spoiler, but this one will be different. I'm looking forward to defending my home turf, for once in a long time. I haven't fought in St. Louis since I was on the regional scene, like 5-6 years ago. And, I'm used to going on the attack in enemy territory, but defending home soil, this will be new and exciting.
Is that different? I mean, we're not talking game plans, none of that kind of stuff. But I'm saying and again, it's going to be the same as a fight anywhere. I get that. But if you're thinking that you're defending hometown, is that different? Is it going to make you do different things that you may not do if you were in enemy territory?
That's a good question. So yeah, like I said, I'm for sure looking at this all throughout training camp. Every day when I'm in the training room and everything, I'm looking at it as I'm defending home soil, and that gives me the motivation and fuel to train extra hard. But come fight night, I'll have to treat this just like any other fight.
Absolutely.
I have to treat this like any other day. I can't, there's already enough pressure as is that comes with fighting. I can't stack a ton of additional pressure on me. Like, I'm in my hometown, I got to defend. I can't, no, come fight night when I'm making that walk, it's just going to be like any other fight. Only thing on my mind is going to be seek and destroy. I'm not going to be thinking about the hometown crowd or none of that stuff.
We are talking to Sean Woodson back in the octagon this Saturday, UFC on ESPN. What's the craziest, strangest, funniest thing that's ever happened in the middle of a fight, a professional fight, because a lot of guys get in fights outside of the cage? The craziest thing that you can think of that's happened, in the cage?
Off the top of my head, I have to say what happened, the whole fiasco with my last fight, man. I mean, it wasn't like during the fight, but at the end of the fight played out. I was pretty sure I had won, and the ref has us in the middle, and they're reading off the scorecards. I hear it's a split, but because of how crazy the stadium was I could not hear what Bruce Buffer was announcing. So then they read the scorecards off, and I could have swore he said my opponent's name. I don't know why I thought Sean sounded like Charles. And my opponent celebrated and raised his hands. I don't know if you saw it, and for a split second, like I thought I had lost the fight, and I was super heartbroken and disappointed. And I shake DC's hand and go to walk away and leave out of the cage, and he's like, "Bro, you won. What are you doing?" And it was just a whirlwind